your words become your reality. You are where you are today in part because of what you've been saying about yourself. Words are like seeds. When you speak something out, you give life to what you're saying. If you continue to say it, eventually that can become a reality. Whether you realize it or not, you are prophesying your future. And this is great when we're saying things like, I'm blessed, I'm strong, I will accomplish my dreams, I'm coming out of debt. That's not just being positive, you are prophesying victory, prophesying success, prophesying new levels. Your life will move in the direction of your words. But too many people go around prophesying just the opposite. I never get any good breaks. I'll never get back in shape. Business is slow. I'll probably get laid off. Flu season is here. I always get it. They don't realize they are prophesying defeat. It's just like they're calling in bad breaks, mediocrity, lack. You can't talk defeat and expect to have victory. You can't talk lack, not enough, can't afford it, never get ahead, and expect to have abundance. If you have a poor mouth, you're going to have a poor life. If you don't like what you're seeing, start sowing some different seeds.
You can't do this. It's impossible. It's never gonna happen. Just give up. Just settle. It's not meant. Accept defeat. You're not the one. They're just better. You're too weak. No one wants to hear you. Try something else. No one likes you. Just follow. Do like everybody else. Do it the easy way. Accept being broke. Quit dreaming. What are you doing? Why do you have to be so damn different?
We all have this negative self-talk that goes in our head. Guess what? There's enough people that are telling us we can't do it, that we're not good enough. Why do we want to tell ourselves that? We know for a fact that thoughts influence actions. We saw it there with the video Sheldon, Dr. Levy showed, right? We know that our thoughts influence actions. Why do we want to say that negative self-talk to ourselves? We need to get our own self-affirmations. Muhammad Ali, what was his self-affirmation? I am the greatest. Who else is going to tell you? There need to be quiet moments in your bedroom, quiet moments when you're brushing your teeth, that we need to reaffirm, I am the captain of my ship and the master of my fate. That is my affirmation. If I don't believe it, no one else will. How do you build self-confidence? Get away from the people who will tear you down. There's enough of that. Muhammad Ali, I am the greatest. There is no one better than me. It's a difference between hubris and ego and false pride. It's just reminding yourself in quiet, silent moments. I put it down on a list. It's right beside my mirror, right? About all the things that make me who I am. Because I make enough mistakes, and the newspapers will recognize it, and people around me will recognize it, and they'll tear me down. And pretty soon I'll begin to believe it. Stop the self-talk. The negative self-talk. If you'll watch, you'll see some athletes, they'll have a little bandage or a little brand around them. Lance Armstrong's a perfect one. What's his self-affirmation? Live Strong isn't a brand. It was to remind him of who he was. Live strong. Then it came a brand. He would move that from one arm to the next arm when doubt and fear came into his mind. Live strong. Put it on there. Let's go. We'll all have it. Replace it.
I believe passionately that we can shift the negative voices and stories that are going on in our minds into positive ones. How do you do that? Well, there's three main questions. The first question is it the truth? Is whatever I'm sharing with someone or what you're hearing from someone else that's giving you feedback about your life true? You know 100% that it's true. First question. Second question. Is it necessary? is what I'm saying to myself in my head, is it necessary in the exact moment in what I'm doing with my life right then? And the third question is, does it improve upon the silence?
Somewhere deep inside, you know what kind of person you were designed to be. If you want to produce great acorns, think like an oak, not like an acorn. Think like the person you intend to become. Like the Christian question, what would Jesus do? Ask yourself, how would the person I'd like to be do the things I'm about to do? So let me ask a question. What kind of seed is in you?
Figure out who you are, don't apologize for who you are, and then become even greater than you naturally are at what you are.
If I could give you one thing to take from this, it is, no one will believe in you unless you do. Listen to the words of that video. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes. We're supposed to be different, folks. And when people look at us, believe in yourself.
Commitment means standing up for your life. It means honoring your... Nothing can resist a person that has that kind of commitment. The people that have made a difference on the planet. When a John F. Kennedy said, we will go to the moon in the next decade, he spoke it. That was a commitment, and people shared that vision. People bought into that. We've had all kind of examples in history where people have made declarations, who have committed their lives to bring about a difference. There are people who are taking a stand today against hunger. I guarantee you it will be a part of our past at some point in time. Someone took a stand against polio. It no longer plagues us as it once did, because someone said, it is my commitment to eradicate it from the face of the earth. Someone made the commitment. The reason that we're here and enjoying the democracy that we have, someone made a commitment that whatever is required, if it means that I die. I remember Paul Robeson, here I stand, for I can do no other. And that's how you must be. Commitment means standing up for your life. It means honoring yourself. It means beginning to say and to see and recognize your alignment and oneness with the universe, and that you are a channel for life to express through. And we short-circuit it with anger. We short-circuit it with fear. We short-circuit it with envy. We short-circuit it by being lazy or apathetic or giving up easily. Why? We say, oh, it's too hard, it's too hard. We don't challenge our spirit. Ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing as powerful as the human spirit. You can't destroy it. You can pervert it, but you can't destroy it. I was reading Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. What a powerful book. I'm reading it now for the 7th time. And he gives so many graphic examples of the power of the human spirit. And so what are some of the things that can fortify us and give us the kind of inner strength that will allow us to forward ourselves into the future by manifesting our commitments? Number one, commitment means in some cases going back to school, getting some training, sitting up in classes with people younger than you, putting yourself in a position where you don't know and that is awkward and uncomfortable, but because of your commitment to develop yourself, or to go back to school to get a high school diploma or to get a college degree, that it doesn't matter. feeling dumb and saying, what am I doing here, sitting up in some boring class? Commitment can mean a lot of things. It could mean that you begin to go back. You got to back up sometimes. It means to back up and not give up, to regroup, back up and regroup and come back again, because life has waylaid you, because you got knocked down. I know when I was working on my dream, there were times I lost my house at one point. I lost my car. I was broke. My credit was bad. I was sleeping at different friends' houses on their couch or on the floor. There were times, months, that I slept on the floor of my office and got up early and dressed before my staff got there to give them the impression that I got there early before they did. And we all pretend not to know what we knew, that the boss was staying in the office. So we never talked about it. But I refuse to give up on my dream. And what happens, they say, you know, in the prosperous years, you put it in your pocket. In the lean years, you put it in your heart. It makes me appreciate it even more. Even more. I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. The disappointment, the pain that I've gone through by keeping the commitment. Keeping the commitments that you have might mean taking a stand that's unpopular. Something was said one time, when you take a position, says cowardice asks the question, is it safe? Politics asks the question, is it popular? But conscience or commitment asks the question, is it right? And see, most people rather operate from the first two. Is it safe for me to take this position? I remember when I was a state legislator, I saw guys and women who believed in legislation very strongly, but because the Speaker of the House said, we won't go with that, they backed down. And they felt bad about it. They wouldn't take the position because they didn't want the Speaker of the House to be angry at them. They wanted to be all right with all of the rest of our colleagues. See, it takes a great deal of strong courage and commitment on your part to step out a line. Henry David Thoreau says, if a man doesn't keep pace with his companions, perhaps he's listening to the beat of a different drummer. Let him dance to the music that he hears, however measured or far apart. When you are committed, you're dancing to the beat of a different drummer. Don't expect people to understand you. Don't expect it to make sense to anybody why you've got to do this, why you have got to go, why you leave. This is a good job. I'm going. They pay you well. I'm going. You just a few years from retirement. I'm going. Why? I don't understand. You don't have to. Here's what I suggest. Number one, that does happen. So take total responsibility for it. Just own it. Don't make any excuses on why you gave in or why you didn't come through. Just own it and face the flack, whatever it is, and stand up inside yourself. Next thing is, assess the situation. How did you get here? What happened that you broke down, that you had a breakdown and you surrendered? What happened? What was going on? See, when I used to go on a diet, and I no longer do that, I've made a commitment to a healthy lifestyle. I used to eat up until 12 midnight on Sunday. Anything that wasn't moving. And on Monday, I would get up and eat a fruit, light fruit breakfast, and for lunchtime, I would fix some broiled chicken and meticulously peel the skin off and eat the chicken, and then eat the skin. Do 5 setups, look in the mirror, and become discouraged because my stomach doesn't look like a washboard or one of the Avon Haley dances. And I say, what the use? And then I go to the refrigerator and eat food cold standing right there in the refrigerator. So when I evaluated where I broke down, I realized I can't have junk food in the house. So I changed my route. I stopped taking people to lunch or to dinner because I couldn't sit there and watch them eat. When I had to go someplace and speak and they were eating, I said, call me downstairs when it's time for me to speak, because if I sit at the table looking at them, the food's going to call my name. And I know this. So I had to begin to make sure that I wasn't putting myself in a position where I would give up on my commitment. Am I making sense to you? So I began to strategize around avoiding situations where I knew that I was going to become weak. Another thing I do when I don't keep my commitment, I either deny myself something or I do a trade-off. If a glazed donut takes advantage of me, then I require myself to do an extra 25 setups, or I walk for an extra 15 or 20 minutes because I got a hammerlock on my head and say, come on over here. So you might have to deny yourself something or do a trade-off. Do something that will offset it. The other thing is, start again. So what? You fell flat on your face. So what? Start again. Learn from the experience and start again. Don't count yourself out. Don't sentence yourself to a lifetime of being miserable, a lifetime of being broke, a lifetime of being unhealthy, a lifetime of being in a relationship that is no longer fulfilling to you, a lifetime of working on a job that does not bring you satisfaction, that's not giving you the creative urge that you need and that got to have in your life that stimulates you. Don't sentence yourself like that. You are a human being. Don't volunteer your life that way. Your life has too much value to the universe. You've got something to contribute. You've got something to give. And so what if you make a commitment and you're not able to do it like a pro? That you're not good as everybody else. Live in the moment. I like what this says. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the realities and verities of existence, the bliss of growth, the splendor of action, the glory of power. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today well lived makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. See, if we just start enjoying where we are, if we make that kind of commitment to enjoy where we are, to experience the experience of life where we are, to do all we can right now where we are. Forget about the mistakes yesterday. Forget about all your failures yesterday. Forget about what you don't have. That's not important. Only thing that we have is right now. Right now, right now. And I say that life is calling on you to call forth on that. The optimists, which I think one of the most positive groups in the world, they have something called the Optimist Creed, and I like, it says promise yourself. I changed it to commit yourself, because I think that commitment has more power than promise. It says commit yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind, to talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet, to make all your friends feel that there is something in them, to look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true, to think only of the best, to work only for the best, and expect only the best, to be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are about your own, to forget the mistakes of the past and press on to the greater achievements of the future, to wear cheerful countenance at all times and give every living creature you meet a smile, to give so much time to the improvement of yourself that you have no time to criticize others, to be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble. Commit yourself to these things. Isn't that powerful? What a commitment to make with your life. Commit yourself to stretch, to get outside of your comfort zone and not be concerned about what people think about you, because they're thinking it anyhow. Don't worry about what they will say. They're already saying it. So what do you care? Decide that your life has so much meaning to the planet. Decide that you have something to give. That's why you're here. So you didn't just show up. You brought something here. You're on a journey. You have a destination, mission to achieve, to do, to implement, to perform, to experience. Decide to commit yourself to be an adventurer in life. Look out on life around you. Look within yourself and say, where is it in my life that I need to make a commitment right now. Where is it? That it might be for your health. It might be to be a happier person. It might be to make a difference in your community. It might be that. Where is it? I say that commitment shows up in the man or woman who has some idea, some dream that they've been nurturing within themselves, and no one believed it. No one saw it for them. That they weren't masters at it. They weren't experts at it. No one would build a statue and ever call their name and recognize them. They never made it to the front page of the newspaper, but they had something that was theirs, something that was their baby, something that they loved and they believed in, and they just did what they could with what God gave them with their dream. Commitment shows up, and people that are willing to give themselves a chance, who look at their lives, look within themselves and say, I know that this just cannot be it for my life. I know that there's something I'm supposed to do. I don't know right now. Or maybe you do know. Maybe you do know and you've talked yourself out of it. And I understand that. Because I'm late. No. Everything happens as it should. I got the courage to step out, to become committed. I was seriously not serious before. And I decided, it took me some time to build up the courage to become committed because it frightened me. So I understand wrestling with it. I wish I could tell you I've been doing this for 20 years. I haven't. I'm just glad that I decided to become committed before I left here. And wherever you are, decide that you're going to commit your life now. And let it show up in your contribution. Let it show up in what you have to share. And whatever commitment that you make, honor your commitment as yourself. Honor your word as yourself.
Strong mind is built with daily gratitude. When you are grateful. Develop a strong mind and you will live a strong life. If you only ever listen to one thing I say, listen to this. Develop a strong mind and you will live a strong life. A strong mind is built from feeding it with positive thoughts and learning new things every day. Not every now and then. Not for a little while. Every single day. A strong mind is built with daily gratitude. When you are grateful for everything you do have, you have no room for negativity, no room for doubt or anxiety. A strong mind is built with goals. Goals that give you a reason to get up out of bed and attack the day. A strong mind is built from knowing you are responsible for your life, your results, your success and your failures. A strong mind is built with learning new things every day on topics that expand your mind and develop your skills. Growth is the key to life. If you are growing and challenging yourself every day, you'll lead a happy life. If you're not, you will suffer. The mind is like a muscle. It gets stronger when you embrace challenges, when you push it to its limits, when you learn what works and apply that to your life. A strong mind is one that surrounds itself with the right people. A strong mind does not let opinions alter its course in life. It follows its own path no matter what. A strong mind is one that visualizes success and is prepared to work to make that picture come to life. A strong mind does not let fear get in the way of success. Strong mind, strong life.
Zig Ziglar once said, if you are not willing to learn, no one can help you. If you are determined to learn, no one can stop you. Live your life with that determination to learn every single day, and no one will stop you.
Everyone in the world is capable of living outside the role or beyond.
You're still here, and you get another chance this day to do better and be better. Another chance to become more of who you were created and what you were created to fulfill.
Everyone in the world is capable of living outside the role or beyond the roles that they place themselves in, no matter what it is. You're not just a dad, you're not just a banker, you're not just a brother or a son or a convict. It doesn't matter. Like, everyone is bigger, much bigger, infinitely bigger than the roles they place themselves in, and is capable of reaching potential greater than anything they could imagine.
You can live the life you desire. It's right there in front of you. But in order to achieve it, you must first see it, then believe it, and then you must graciously ask and train your brain to help you execute your vision.
So when you start to focus and you delete distraction from your life, and you start to get seriously invested in doing one thing staggeringly well, and you practice that one thing over and over, a term to think about is mundanity. You do one simple, seemingly insignificant thing every day around your main skill, and it's very mundane, but small daily improvements over time lead to world-class results. Well, here's what happens in your brain. You start to isolate a single neurocircuit around that skill, and that starts to trigger a certain type of brain cell called an oligodendrocyte, which then releases myelin. Myelin is a fatty tissue that starts to wrap around that single neurocircuit related to that main skill you've been practicing. And when myelin starts to wrap around the brain circuit, what happens is you have accelerated learning times, you can see more quickly, heightened perception, and you'll learn more quickly. And that is really the quote-unquote secret of the great producers. It's not a result of some natural gift, but their daily practice, their relentlessness and their grit, their work ethic, and their singular focus and sacrifice.
I think for the most part, gifted people struggle in life because things come easy to them. I like that things haven't come easy for me in my life. And maybe I accepted a long time ago I wasn't the smartest, the best looking, the fast enough, with the best background, the most connections. I didn't have any of those things. What I could control was my work ethic. I think for the most part, gifted people struggle in life because things come easy to them. I like that things haven't come easy for me in my life. And maybe you like that about you too. Maybe you've looked at yourself all your life and thought, man, I don't have that natural beauty or that natural talent or intellect or humor. I don't have any of those things. But what I got is I will outwork you. When you get to winning, for me, it's come down to maxing out. And what maxing out means is You do one more at least than you think you're capable of. So when you're done, whatever you're doing, whether it's at the gym or phone calls or meetings or in sports, one more shot, one more throw, one more swing of the golf club or the baseball bat, the separator is for the winners, they do one more. And I'm the kind of guy that I know when you do 45 minutes on the treadmill and I do 46, I deserve to be fitter. I know that when I'm lifting weights and I watch you do 5 sets of 10 and every single time I do one more. When it's supposed to be an 8-hour workday, I work 9. Whatever it is, I always do one more. And what that does is it makes me eventually think I'm doing things other people aren't willing to do, so I should get things other people aren't going to get. That's the separator. If you're someone who's always doing things other people aren't willing to do, you always max out, you always go to the next level, you convince yourself you deserve to win. You can take low self-esteem, low identity, low confidence, and change it over time by building this habitual addiction to doing one more, this obsession of one more. All the greats do one more and all the average don't. Other people are going to get slowed down. Other people are going to take a break. Other people are going to flinch. Other people are going to cool it. Other people are going to believe they've made it. Or maybe some people are going to believe they can't make it. But you're going to be relentless. You're going to be repetitious. You may not be the fastest. You may not be the smartest. You may not be the strongest. You may not be the most beautiful. You may not have the most articulate thoughts and ideas in the world. But what you got is one more. And when they get weak, you just keep company. When they flinch, you blow their doors off. That's how you win in life, is you keep getting after it and keep getting after it until the job gets done. So a lot of people are going to be excited for a day. They can be excited for a month. But the winners, they stay excited as long as it takes to get the job done. You're going to knock down whatever that rock is that's been between you and your dream. You're going to be relentless. You're not going to give in. And you know long term, all these other people, they're going to flinch, they're going to get weak, and you won't. You can't control all the exterior things in your life, people's attitudes, how they treat you. But you can control this. You can always make the next phone call, always do one more meeting, always do one more, always, always, always. And I promise you, you will knock down that rock that's in between you and your dream and make them come true.
There are some things in life that make people miserable. That's the truth. Why only focus these speeches on the youth? The order to generate... This poem is called A Real Motivational Speech by Jonathan Buchea Miller. Motivational speeches suck. Like honestly, they tell you to give up. They say rid yourself of pain, and to me, that sounds a bit insane. To be really motivated, you need to relate. If not, then the speech is not great. One thing they all say is to be happy, but what happens if you're trapped and feel crappy? There are some things in life that are uncontrollable. There are some things in life that make people miserable. That's the truth. Why only focus these speeches on the youth? The older generation feels stuck in their job, just an invisible walking blob. See, I say we should care for all who are stuck, which is all of us, you schmuck. So a message for the motivational speakers. Here's just a little tip to tweak her. If it wasn't for our pain, we wouldn't have known something was wrong. It may make us look insane, but it shows that we are strong. Change is needed when shown. Without change, we'd be left to roam. So motivate us to embrace the pain. Motivate us to be a tad bit insane. Motivate us to fight our bane. Motivate us to fill the drain. Motivate us to only gain. We can think negatively if we want. That allows us to simply taunt. Welcome to the restaurant where motivation only haunts. Get ready to be served what pain calls absurd. Change will be given, pain will be driven, you will be saved, something we've always craved. Let that pain be a drive, something that comes from inside. Be motivated to change that wrong. Only you write that song. Let everyone hear it right. You will stand that fight until the last night. You have always been right.
Law number 1 in the 48 Laws of Power is called never outshine the master. And almost every single person in the world has Power begins from within. If you're aware of who you are, if you're aware of what you're good at, what you're not good at, if you're able to see how emotions kind of govern your life, if you can learn what your weaknesses are and how to control them, you can't ever get complete control, but awareness is almost enough. Slowly through this process of knowing who you are and understanding other people and how they operate so you don't make stupid mistakes in life, you can increase that little tiny margin more and more and more, and you will be a person of power. Law number 1 in the 48 Laws of Power is called never outshine the master. And almost every single person in the world has violated that law, myself included. Basically how it works, you're so eager to impress your boss or whomever in your new job that you try so hard that you make him or her feel insecure. Like maybe you're younger and better than they are, and because of that, you're fired, or something bad happens to you, and you never know why.
Do you think meditation is allowing you to make more interesting connections because of the quiet?
Yes, I mean, I'm not going to go too deeply into this. It's a theory of creativity that's not my own, but that I use a lot in Mastery. And basically the idea is that ideas are generated in the unconscious. They're not generated consciously. Your conscious mind is very limited what you can hold in your memory. Right. But unconsciously, in your subconscious, when you're asleep, when you're dreaming, the mind is filled with thousands upon thousands of ideas and things that are there, that are lingering there. And connections are being made all of the time. And occasionally those connections float up to your conscious mind and you have a brilliant idea about how to do something. 1 out of 10 people are like great manipulators. And there just takes one person and they can ruin your life. We were born with this natural talent. Every single person is born with this talent for getting inside the minds of other people. It's something that you're not even aware of.
How do they need to conceive of that? To what end are they using that skill to make their own dreams come true?
First thing is you're not aware of this power that you have. You're walking around in life, I'm not critical because I'm the same, sort of sleepwalking. You're inside hearing your own thoughts day in, day out, like a continually, circling loop in your head. And you're not aware of the fact that if you stop that and you look at other people, a world opens up to you. So what's the first component of that world? Nonverbal communication. 95% of what really matters in communication between people is not through words. Words are used to deceive you, to disguise what people are really thinking.
What are just a step or two that they can take down that path starting today?
The first thing to understand is the most important, and that it is a skill. If you want to play the piano, you can't just sit down and suddenly play. You've got to practice it. You've got to practice it every day. And if you practice an hour a day, you're going to get better at it. Why are children able to learn and an adult can't? The reason is children don't think that they're superior. They don't think that they already understand the world. They're this small, they're weak, they're defenseless. They have to learn or they're gonna die. They have to learn how to speak the language. They have to learn what's going on with their parents, or they're literally gonna die.
Do you have tricks that you use for ensuring that genius does not become a young man's game, that your books truly get better and better over time?
Basically, every time I begin a book, I'm deathly afraid of failing. I feel like, oh, it's not gonna sell as well as the last book. I'm losing it. I gotta go back to square one. Each project, each thing that you do in life, you have to kind of create that feeling in the gut like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pull it off. I don't know if I can go 12 rounds with Floyd Mayweather this time. I don't know it. The secret really to success in life, I have to say, is retaining, I talk about this in Mastery, is retaining your childlike qualities. If you're completely a child, that's not gonna work. Negative capability is rule number one for being a creative person. And if you don't follow anything else in Mastery, that would be enough. The ability to keep two ideas that contradict each other in your mind without feeling uncomfortable, without having to come to a conclusion. You can think about something without rushing to judgment and conclusion. You can be in the moment. You can say, well, it could be this, it could be that, it could be that. And you don't have to decide whether it's A, B, or C. You're open to adopting 3 or 4 different viewpoints.
If you love music, don't quit your job and play guitar. Like, you're gonna have a hard time feeding your family. But you have advice for them. What is that advice?
Yeah, but people say, live your passion. So these are cliches, and nobody changes their life based on a cliche. You've got to do hard work, and to do hard work, you have to have a roadmap. Somebody has to show you step to get there. Working for yourself, starting your own company, doing what you love should be everybody's goal. The process begins by first knowing what you really love. And believe me, I do a lot of consulting. A lot of people have no self-awareness. They don't even really know what it is that they were meant to do in life. They loved music when they were a kid, but then they got into law or whatever because of their parents, and then they don't know who they are anymore. Well, do I really like music? You got to go through that process first of figuring out what it is that really connects to you in a deep, visceral way, what you loved when you were a kid, what still excites you. Once you go through that and you understand it and you've got some clarity about it, okay, how do I incorporate that in my life? So if you're 23 years old, it's a little easier. I love music, but I'm not a musician because I've not been practicing it. I just love music. But I have a real good sense of business. I've been studying business and I have an MBA, etc. Okay, I've got to now find a way to craft a career that combines my knowledge of business and my love of music. And if I follow that and I do it smart and I plan it out, eventually what starts out with more business than music will end up becoming more creative as I get better and better at it.
How do you prepare somebody to survive that initial stage of boredom and pain?
Well, pain is great. You've got to embrace pain. Pain is pleasure. You've got to make the connection between the physical and the mental. Well, you know that when you're exercising, when you're running or you're working out or whatever, it hurts, but it leads to something pleasurable. You have to be able to translate that to mental things. And if you make that switch in your mind, it is mind-blowing what can happen to you. Who are the most messed up people in the world? Spoiled kids. Kids who are given everything, who have a rich father or mother and they don't have to work or try. They are the most messed up people you'll ever meet. Each person, I make this point in Mastery, is born unique. And it's kind of one of those cliches. Yeah. But there's science to it. The science is your DNA will never be repeated. The way your brain is wired will never be repeated. Your experiences in life, you're one of a kind. And it's an amazing thought if you think about it. Of all of the billions of humans that have lived and will ever live, there will never be anybody who is wired like you are wired. And the problem in life is as you get older, you can become more and more like other people. You spend a lot of your time thinking about what other people like, and you're not aware of what you like. You go into careers because you listen to other people. If you look at all of the brilliant people who've succeeded in life, if you look at a Steve Jobs, you look at an Elon Musk, etc., there's nobody else out there like them. You're never going to be able to pinpoint one other person like them. They are completely unique, and those are the people that end up having power in the world. So if you're going to be able to create that website, that blog, that whatever it is, that startup that is different, that has its own niche and reflects you, something good will happen from it.
Control people's perceptions of reality and you control them.
It's a great military strategy. Comes from the great Colonel Boyd, who invented what's known as the OODA loops. And he came up with the OODA loop, which means orientation, observation, decision, action. You have to observe what is happening, orient yourself into the context of it, decide what you need to do, and act. We want to believe that there are shortcuts to success. We want to believe we can take a drug or we can do something that'll make it quick and easy. But the truth is, it takes grit, it takes persistence. So it's hard to understand what could happen to you in 10 years in a visceral gut way of what it means to have failed in life. And to me, failure in life is not having money. It's not realizing your potential. You're 60 years old and you said, I could have been this, and I never did it. That's like the worst thought I think anybody can have. And you don't think about it in the moment because your life is okay, but you've got to wake up and understand that there's an urgency here. And that if you're not practicing something now, if you're not aware, if you don't have a path towards something better, you're rotting on the vine, and that day of reckoning will come at some point, and it will be painful. You're not going to feel it suddenly, it'll be slow, but it'll come and it won't be good. Just being aware that you now have a plan is enough to lift you out of that depression. Okay, I'm working at Burger King, but I know I'm going to get to this community college and get a degree here after I save enough money. Having a goal is will change you completely from being depressed or not taking care of yourself to being energized and moving in the right direction.
Love, face disease or depression or death. Are you battling a demon of addiction, tobacco or drugs or gambling, or the pernicious contemporary plague of pornography? Is your marriage in trouble or your child in danger? Are you confused with gender identity or searching for self-esteem? Do you or someone you love face disease or depression or death? Whatever other steps you may need to take to resolve these concerns, come first to the gospel of Jesus Christ. Trust in heaven's promises. In that regard, Alma's testimony is my testimony. I do know, he says, that whosoever shall put their trust in God shall be supported in their trials and their troubles and their afflictions.
Each of you is a unique child of God. God knows you individually. He sends messages of encouragement, correction, and direction fitted to you and to your needs. God sends messages and authorized messengers to his children.
We need to turn to God. We need to reaffirm our faith, and we need to reassert our hope. Where necessary, we need to repent, and certainly we need to pray. I testify this morning of God's limitless love for his children, of his unquenchable desire to help us heal our wounds individually and collectively. The first and great commandment on earth is for us to love God with all our heart, might, mind, and strength, because surely the first and great promise in heaven is that he will always love us that way. And the Father of us all is divinely anxious to bless us this very moment. Mercy is his mission, and love is his only labor. John Donne once said, "We ask our daily bread, and God never says you should have come yesterday. No, he says today. If you will hear my voice, today I will hear yours." Alma taught that remarkable truth to his son Helaman, entreating him to put his trust in God. Alma said God was quick to hear the cries of his people, quick to answer their prayers. He said to his son, "I have been supported in trials and troubles and afflictions of every kind. God has delivered me. I do put my trust in him, and he will still deliver me."
The work of patience boils down to this: keep the commandments. Trust in God, our Heavenly Father. Serve him with meekness and Christ-like love. Exercise faith and hope in the Savior. And never give up.
Never give up. However deep the wounds of your soul, whatever their source, wherever or whenever they happen, and for how short or long they persist, you are not meant to perish spiritually. You are meant to survive spiritually and blossom in your faith and trust in God. The Savior is our Good Samaritan, sent to heal the brokenhearted. He comes to us when others pass us by. With compassion, he places his healing balm on our wounds and binds them up. He carries us. He cares for us. He bids us, "Come unto me, and I shall heal you." In the crucible of earthly trials, patiently move forward, and the Savior's healing power will bring you light, understanding, peace, and hope. Pray with all your heart. Strengthen your faith in Jesus Christ, in his reality, in his grace. Hold on to these words: "My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness."
Brothers and sisters, I invite you to place all of your trust in God and in the teachings of our prophets. I invite you to renew your covenants with God, to serve him with all your heart, regardless of the complex situations of life. I testify that by the power of our unwavering faith in Christ, you will become free of the captivity of sin, of doubt, of unbelief, of unhappiness, of suffering, and you will receive all of the promised blessings from our Heavenly Father.
That my voice was needed in this world. When I believed that I needed to be on the stage, not for myself, but to speak to a group of people who come from where I come from, a working class,
who don't know what it's like to make millions and millions of dollars, who don't understand what wealth looks like, that I needed to come in the room with When I was first introduced to do something like this, maybe 500 people, 1,000 people, I literally would come in the room, and as gifted and as talented as I was, even though I belonged and I had everything I needed to do, I would walk in the room and feel like I don't belong in this room. I remember, same gift, the videos had already been out, my numbers were great, and I would come in rooms and go, or like that room, like I go to a high school, like boom, I go to a youth detention center, boom, I go to a prison, boom. I come to corporate and go, I don't know if I belong in here. Everybody in the room don't look like me. They don't come from where I come from. I don't know if I belong here. And I'll never forget. And I started talking to Les, and I started naming like, yo, you, Les Brown, this person, #1 in the world. He said, don't you ever say that again. I said, don't say what? He said, you the best in the world right now. I said, what? He said, you the best in the world right now. There's nobody as good as you in the world. You're the best right now. The only reason you're not the best right now is because you don't believe you're the best now. And when you walk out this room, I want you to go in and preach to yourself, I'm the best right now. He said, before you even become #1, start to proclaim it and say it long before it happened. Say, I'm the #1 motivational speaker in the world. And when I was number 20, I started saying, I'm the #1 motivational speaker in the world. And I went to the computer, and the world said exactly what I said, that Eric Thomas is #1 in the world. I spoke it, the world heard it, and it activated. Your problem is that you don't believe you belong here. Your problem is that you don't think you should be sitting down here. When I believed that my voice was needed in this world, when I believed that I needed to be on the stage, not for myself, but to speak to a group of people who come from where I come from, a working class, who don't know what it's like to make millions and millions of dollars, who don't understand what wealth looks like, that I needed to come in the room with a single parent mother, with a father not in my life, being homeless and a high school dropout. Only somebody who comes from where you come from can tell you you belong. And I had to get my butt on stage because there's some folks that Les Brown can't reach. There's some folks that Tony Robbins can't reach. There's some folks that only I can reach. And so I need to be on the stage with them, doing what I was called to do. And there are those of you still up there because you don't think you belong in that $1 million home. Look, I'll never forget when I first told them I was moving to California, I was putting my wife deserves to be out of the winter in Michigan. She deserves that. I remember they said, E.T., you moving to Cali? I was like, yeah. They said, what was the first thing they said? You know how expensive California is? I said, it can't be too expensive. There's millions of people that live there. Like for real, when I moved there, it won't be like 5 of us in California. There are 5 human beings. I'm like, there's a lot of people live in California. It can't be that expensive. Are you selling your home in Michigan? I said, no, why would I do that? How can you afford 2 homes? How can I not? My wife has MS. How can I not? She wants to be with her family in the summer and she wants to be in the warmth in the winter. How can I not be bi-coastal? I won't be the first one. As a matter of fact, there's some people who own 3 and 4 homes. So we got one there, and now I'm looking at the French Riviera as my next spot. We talked about the French Riviera, baby. That's my next spot. Listen to me very closely. If I had one message to leave you with that's a game changer, is you need to start to believe. Write this down. No. Do me a favor. Don't say that. Don't say you believe. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't say, look, it's not a behavior that I'm looking for. It's a mindset. No. Here's the problem. You can't have, as powerful as the human mind is, it cannot think 2 thoughts at once. So here's what I need you to do. You need to get with these people down here and you need to reprogram your mind. All right, let me tell you why I'm saying that. So I got a friend of mine, like he sees how I treat my wife. right? So like I was homeless, high school dropout. So anything, like if Dee Dee thinks that I'm gonna get it for her. I cook, I clean, like we are a partnership. Like we do everything together. And so my boy watched the response I was getting from my wife as I wash clothes, as I cook, as I iron. And I'll never forget, my boy was like, I'm about to do that. And I was like, I wouldn't do that if I was you. He was like, no, I'm gonna start doing that. I was like, I wouldn't do that if I was you. And he didn't understand what I meant. But what I meant by it is, you're going to do it, but you're not gonna be able to do it consistently because you're mimicking my behavior, not my thought process. See, you're gonna stop ironing clothes because somewhere in your mind you think your wife is subservient. See, somewhere in your mind you think your wife was born to take care of your needs. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just telling you, you can't do what I do with that mindset. Like you can't believe, because so now you're gonna start ironing clothes and the people in your culture are gonna say, what are you ironing clothes for? That's a woman's job. See, I don't have a problem when people tell me, I'll never forget, I was on the floor in an apartment we had, and I was mopping the floor on my knees, and my boy came in and was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm mopping the floor. You ain't never seen nobody wipe the floor. He was like, not on your hands and knees. I was like, yeah, my wife is a neat freak, so I gotta get on my hands and whatever. He was like, yo, bro, you whipped. I was like, you ain't know that? What, you trying to embarrass me? You just found out I was whipped, bro? He was like, yeah, you whipped. I was like, I see that as a compliment. Whipped. Bruh, when I was homeless and living in abandoned buildings, my girl would sneak me into her crib. When I didn't have a job, she would give me her allowance at 15. When I went to college, she was the one that said, go get your GED and follow me to college or I'm breaking up with you. When I started my speaking career, she was the one that got her job first as a nurse, and we had health insurance, and the first house we bought, my credit was so messed up, she couldn't even take my last name. She bought the first house with her credit. What do you mean about, yeah, I'm whipped and loving it. I'm about to buy me a shirt that said whipped. So you ain't even gotta ask me. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I worship the ground she walks on because she been there for me since day one. So you can't mimic what I'm doing if you don't think like I think. I look at my wife as a queen. You look at your wife as your servant. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong if you guys have those roles. There's nothing wrong with that. I understand that. I've been with my wife my whole life. All of my success. I can't even divorce her because I don't know what's mine and what's hers. Like I never accomplished anything on my own. You're not hearing what I'm saying. So there are those of you who want to mimic their behavior. It's not their behavior you need. It's their mindset that you need. It's the way they think is what you need. And when you begin to think the way, let me say this to you, and this gonna be weird for my working class people. I actually worked harder when I worked. I know I got a GED. I'm so simple, it'd be for you like it go right over your head. I'm gonna say it to you one more time. What I make in an hour now presentation, I actually worked harder when I was working. And some of y'all, you have been in the working class your whole life. You missed what I just said. I actually worked more hours, worked harder, and got less money when I used to work. Now that I have a wealth mentality, I just had a promoter call me to do some stuff in another country and was like a couple hundred. And I'm like, I'm good, bro. And he was like, no, did you hear how much I said? My man couldn't believe I was telling him no. He was like, how can you say no to 200,000? I said, because I'm an ATM machine, I'm wealth. I don't work for money, I think up money. Okay, I'm gonna say it one more time. I don't work for money, I think of ideas and make money.
folly of condemning them and opposing himself to them. Thus there grows up in his heart a divine charity which cannot be limited, but which is extended to all things that live and strive and suffer. To be equally minded is to be peacefully minded, for a man cannot be said to have arrived at peace who allows his mind to be disturbed and thrown off the balance by occurrences. The man of wisdom is dispassionate and meets all things with the calmness of a mind in repose and free from prejudice. He is not a partisan, but having put away passion, and is always at peace with himself and the world, not taking sides nor defending himself, but sympathizing with all. The partisan is so convinced that his own opinion and his own side is right, and that all goes contrary to them is wrong, that he cannot think there is any good in the other opinion and the other side. He lives in a continual fever of attack and defense, and has no knowledge of the quiet peace of an equal mind. The equal-minded man watches himself in order to check and overcome even the appearance of passion and prejudice in his mind, and by so doing he develops sympathy for others and comes to understand their position and particular state of mind, and as he comes to understand others, he perceives the folly of condemning them and opposing himself to them. Thus there grows up in his heart a divine charity which cannot be limited, but which is extended to all things that live and strive and suffer. When a man is under the sway of passion and prejudice, he is spiritually blind, seeing nothing but good in his own side, and nothing but evil in another. He cannot see anything as it really is, not even his own side, and not understanding himself, he cannot understand the hearts of others, and thinks it is right that he should condemn them. Thus there grows up in his heart a dark hatred for those who refuse to see him and who condemn him in return. He becomes separated from his fellow man and confines himself to a narrow torture chamber of his own making. Sweet and peaceful are the days of the equal-minded man, fruitful in good and rich in manifold blessings. Guided by wisdom, he avoids those pathways which lead down to hatred and sorrow and pain, and takes those which lead up to love and peace and bliss. The occurrences of life do not trouble him, nor does he grieve over those things which are regarded by mankind as grievous, but which must befall all men in the ordinary course of nature. He is neither elated by success nor cast down by failure. He sees the events of his life arranged in their proper proportions, and can find no room for selfish wishes or vain regrets, for vain anticipations and childish disappointments. And how is this equal-mindedness, this blessed state of mind and life acquired? Only by overcoming oneself, only by purifying one's own heart, for the purification of the heart leads to unbiased comprehension. Unbiased comprehension leads to equal-mindedness, and equal-mindedness leads to peace. The impure man is swept helplessly away on the waves of passion. The pure man guides himself into the harbor of rest. The fool says, "I have an opinion." The wise man goes about his business.
is good. Life is good. But these excuses always tend to show up in your life. This thing that you continue to hold on, this pity party that you continue to possess in your life tends to hold you back. But what are you going to do?
Don't even think about stopping right now. But no more excuses. See, excuses are just like those butts. Everybody has one. See, in order for you to shine like sun, you must find the fun in the journey to greatness. You must find the fun in the process and exercise the fundamentals of pushing through. See, those that are great have grew because they took their blank canvas and not only drew their desired outcome, they also took action until maximum satisfaction was achieved. They never grieved too long when they suffered failures, bad days, or setbacks. They fell down, got back up, and when they got back up, they were more jacked up and hungrier than ever. See, your problem is your belly and your gas tank is full. So it's impossible for you to pull. It's impossible for you to give. It's impossible for you to dig deep, and easy for you to let any small excuse creep in. It's easy for you to let any small excuse sneak in your mental. But today is the day for your monumental shift. Today is the day that you power through and get one step closer to your gift. Today is the day for you to eliminate any excuse and add more weight to your deadlift. Today is the day that you take that leap of faith and finally jump off that cliff and land softly on your bed of dreams. It seems that success has eluded and excluded you from its playground. But don't blame success because it's you that keeps spinning your wheels like a merry-go-round. You must have missed the memo, or you must have forgot. You were born to be a king that wears a crown. You were born to be a queen that wears a diamond-studded gown. So when you start making excuses, that sound you hear, oh, that's my voice telling you that excuses are for losers. That's my voice telling you that excuses are for snoozers. That's my voice telling you that excuses are for time abusers. That's my voice telling you that excuses are for those that receive fewer and fewer and fewer opportunities. And it's the winners who are the next level choosers, and they maneuver in a manner that puts them in position to win and hoist the banners, because executors and planners ultimately get the championship rings. So from this day forward, excuses are for the weak. So starting right now, not tomorrow, not next week, I need you to vow to keep going. I need you to vow to keep glowing. I need you to vow to keep growing. I need you to vow to keep showing up and showing out. And when excuses pop up, I need you to knock them out your life and make it a one-round bout. Because in order for your seeds to sprout, in order for your greatness to come out, I need you to stand up and shout. Excuses will no longer have clout in my life. Excuses will no longer leave doubt in my life. Excuses will no longer leave pounds in my life. Excuses are now officially out of my life.
minds are so powerful, stronger than any Intel or Snapdragon chip on your Androids. Inspire your minds to inspire others. Shall we dive a little deeper into your minds? You see, the word inspiration is more than just love making. It's more than just medicine for the sick. To inspire others is to heal or be healed, is to bring darkness to light. Life was very simple a century ago. It was so easy to inspire others, from listening to records from the Beatles to hearing speeches from the great Dr. King. We live in a world where we're constantly being bombarded with endless text messages to the latest iPhone models to keeping up with the Kardashian models. We're just so lost that we never stop for a moment and actually think about ourselves, our growth, our success, and how we can inspire others to become as powerful as us. Our minds are so powerful, stronger than any Intel or Snapdragon chip on your Androids. Our body can heal the sick with just the right touch. And our minds can set us free with just the right words. What's going on in our society today is a new world donkey, and what it's trying to impose to us. First, you start off practically driving the same type of cars, Prius, Camry, to having the same type of iPhones, to ending up with the same type of thought process. We're just so focused on others than our very own growth that we can't even learn to inspire our own selves with originality anymore. Taking a risk, being bold, is definitely out of the question. Just play it safe and you're in the game. What happened to our three-dimensional world? A world where we had great thinkers and innovators, from Steve Jobs to Gandhi, with innovating ideas to such messages that led a nation to pursue happiness and liberty for all.
Is good. Life is good. But these excuses always tend to show up in your life. This thing that you continue to hold on, this pity party that you continue to possess in your life, tends to hold you back. But what are you going to do? Rise up, people. Rise up with a full heart. Rise up with an understanding. Rise up from the excuses. Rise up with the willpower. And understand that it's up to you to make a difference. Sometimes it gets tough. Sometimes you get to a point where you don't want to push yourself. Pushing the world is just a part of it. And sometimes the world can be very nasty. It can put you in a position where you don't understand what to do next. But I'm here to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, everything starts with you. Everything necessarily is not about you, but it definitely starts with you. if you're not willing to put the work in, if you're not willing to go a little bit higher, a little bit further, and understanding that work is good, prosperity is good, success is good, life is good, but these excuses always tend to show up in your life. This thing that you continue to hold on, this pity party that you continue to possess in your life tends to hold you back. But what are you going to do? You're going to have to suffer sometime in your life. You're going to have to feel something sometime in your life. Why is it every time you wake up, you want to have something handed to you? Why can't you earn it yourself? Why do you feel like everybody owes you something? It starts with you. You got to be the one that want it. You got to be the one to go after it. You got to be the one to go further. You got to be the one to hurt just a little bit. So what? Maybe you don't like the situation you're in. Maybe you don't like the circumstances you're in. Then what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? You're going to cry? You're going to wallow around, hope that somebody come rescue you from all of these things that you are dealing with in your life right now? You feel that everybody in the world is feeling sorry for you right now? You feel like everybody in the world owes you something? No one owes you anything. No one. You better start doing something. You better start doing something now. That's how it goes. That's what it is. That's the reality. Not sitting around hoping somebody to come and help you, hoping that somebody gonna put their arms around you and tell you it's gonna be okay. You gotta make it okay. In fact, you gotta make it better than okay. You got to go beyond. You got to go up. You got to go up those stairs. You got to go up that mountain. You got to do whatever it is that's gonna take to make you strong and better and more efficient. That's what you got to do. Whatever it takes, whatever the know-how you have inside. Don't let nothing, and I mean nothing, stop you. Nothing under the sun can control what's yours. Nothing under the sun can control what's already been written for you. You just got to keep going up. So rise up every step. Rise up every opportunity. Rise up. When it gets higher, you get higher mentally. Rise up. You make it to the top. And when there's nothing else left to go up to, find something else to climb up. And yeah, you're gonna fall. Yeah, you're gonna stumble. Yeah, there's gonna be some mistakes on the way. It doesn't mean that it's over. It means you got to keep living. It means you got to keep going. It means you got to keep believing and find it and go after it. Because success is not looking for you. Success ain't coming for you. You got to be the one to go after it. Choice is up to you. Make it happen and conduct your business. Is good. Life is good. But these excuses always tend to show up in your life. This thing that you continue to hold on, this pity party that you continue to possess in your life tends to hold you back. But what are you going to do?
The You must learn to dominate. You cannot compete.
I don't want you just to compete, because competing is dangerous. Because when you compete, you got to go all the way to the fourth quarter to make that thing happen. But when you dominate, you take your opponent out the game.
People who are truly successful in this world, those people understand how to dominate. Winners dominate losers. Legends dominate winners. And your mentality on this earth should be that you want to dominate winners. Who gives a if you beat up on all the losers of the world? They're average and mediocre. It's an easy win. That's what makes them losers. There is no honor in that. There is no real achievement in that. If that's the case, congratulations. You might get a nice car. You might get a nice house. You might have a nice life. But you are never, ever going to be truly fulfilled in your success, because you know that you are leaving a load on the table. But legends feel fulfilled and happy. Not because they win or they're better than losers, but because they do what they have to do to be the best there ever was. They might enjoy a nice life, but they are only truly lit up by the true mission of all dominators. And that mission is to be the best there ever was at whatever it is that you do.
Whether it was Oprah, Steve Jobs, Warren Buffett, they're immersed completely in their environment. They're dedicated, completely dedicated. They have a total commitment.
Legends don't settle for being a winner. They strive to be complete domination. Legendary. If you really truly dominate, people are going to see it. They're going to be drawn to you. They will remember your fucking name, because by dominating your life, you will make a profound impact on all of the lives around you. Just winning is not enough, but dominating people who are winning, that's something that'll leave you a fucking legacy.
Because anytime you wake up and you don't have a white chalk outline around your body, it's a great day. Ladies and gentlemen, there are many nights I walked the floor and did not know how I was going to make it. And you must feel during those times, he said, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. There are times, all the motivation in the world cannot help you, that you're going to have to lean on the power greater than yourself. Repeat out to me, please. If I put God first, I'll never come in second. Yes. And once when you're working with your dream and you have that kind of spirit about you, repeat out to me, please. I'm blessed and highly favored. See, when people ask you, say, how you doing? Even if you're having some difficult times, say, I'm blessed and highly favored. Because anytime you wake up and you don't have a white chalk outline around your body, it's a great day. And so I say to you, it's possible you can live your dream if it's becoming a diamond, if it's having more, if it's achieving more, if it's being a better father, being a better mother, whatever it is, overcoming addiction, changing our society. It's possible you can live your dream. It's necessary that you have a plan of action, that you're resilient, that you stick to, and you work with the system, that you work with people, that you give support, and that you be there for them, that you have the vision and never give it up, that you become creative and relentless and keep on coming back again and again and again, and that it's you that you got to take personal responsibility to make it happen, and that it's hard. Easy is not an option. And when life knocks you down, jump back up and say, it's not over until I win. And when you know it's hard, and you write down those reasons that will energize you, that will inspire you when you want to give up, when you doubt yourself and you pull those reasons out, that will make it worth it for you. And once you find those things that will make it worth it for you, it will create a hunger within you that won't be denied, and then it is done. It's a done deal. It's done. You know people, you've seen people that you can predict early on, that person is going to be a diamond. You know it. How they carry themselves, how they take care of business, how they follow through, how they keep their commitments to their commitment, how they work the system, their energy level, their passion. You know it. The mark is on them. You know it. That one's going to make it. You know it. I went to a friend of mine's house the other day, and we were looking at her son who was watching Billy Graham on television, and everybody said, that young man's going to be a preacher. The mark is on him. We know certain people that mark is on them, and people must see that in you. Don't count yourself out. Don't say, I can't do that. You don't know what you cannot do if you're not willing to challenge yourself. Decide that you're going to do something about it. Become an active force in your life. Decide that you're going to work with it until it gives you the blessing that you want, and don't let up on it. Just keep right on working it and working it and working it, and knowing that whatever you do, you can better your best, that you can get better at it. Whatever you want to do, whatever idea that you have, the longer that you're sitting on that idea, you are either creating or you are disintegrating. See, this is the only life you've got. Give it everything you got. Put your heart in it. So you don't want to squander it feeling you can't do any better. You can do better. You should do better. You deserve to do better. You're entitled to that. That is your right to do better.